everyone, welcome to Homestead Corner. I'm Jenny and today we are going to whip up some rhubarb sauce for the pantry. So our rhubarb is finally coming to an end in the garden and we have been eating lots and lots of it fresh. But I wanted to get a little bit put up in the pantry for a rhubarb sauce. Still got a little bit of jelly left from last year. So I figured I'd just put a little something different in the pantry that we don't have in stock right now. And we like to mix it up whenever we can. So we're going to use what we got left from the rhubarb from the garden and just get a sauce made up so we can put it over cakes, ice creams, or anything really. Anything you like, a sweet cinnamony taste. I'm going to put cinnamon in it today. You can do this plain without the cinnamon, but we like a little bit of cinnamon flavor in there. So it's only 3 ingredients we're going to use. Just some fresh rhubarb from the garden, sugar, and cinnamon, and that's it. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is a super simple and easy canning project. So I've got my jars in a water bath canner, so they are nice and hot and ready to go. I've got that on. It's coming up to a boil while I get everything prepared and ready. And I've also got my lids over here heating up. So we are going to start cutting up our rhubarb. So I just give my rhubarb a good wash, and then I'm going to cut these drier ends off. I picked these a couple days ago because I didn't want them to go bad, but it's been so hot I didn't want to can. So this morning I get up the crack of dawn and get it done. So we're going to just cut these into about, I don't know, 1/2 inch to 1 inch pieces and put them right into the pot. And I've got a couple different kinds, a couple different breeds of rhubarb here, so some are more red than others, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be red. It just depends on the variety you have. So we're just going to get all these cut up and right into the pot. Okay, so once we have our rhubarb all cut up, I put this on a medium-high heat, and we want to bring this up to a boil. I've got about 10 cups of rhubarb, so I'm going to use 2.5 cups of sugar for this amount. So I usually do a 1/2 cup per every 2 cups of rhubarb that I have. So we're going to do 2.5 cups here of sugar. It's a little under. That's okay. We don't need it too sweet. And I like to add a little cinnamon to this. So I do 1/2 teaspoon for every 2 cups. So I'm going to do about 2.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. Yeah. And we just want to bring this up to a boil. This is going to make its own liquid. You don't have to put any liquid in here at all. Between the sugar will melt down and the rhubarb will release some of those liquids. So we're just going to take this on a medium heat. We don't want to scorch it, so stay right about medium, a little under high. And we're just going to keep stirring this until we see those liquids are starting to form down in the bottom. Okay, so I like to stay right with this, and once you can see that liquid is starting to form, then we are going to add our cover. Once we get a good rolling boil, I'm going to turn this down and just let it simmer for about 10 minutes until your rhubarb is nice and soft, but it can vary on the time because the less rhubarb you have, the quicker it goes, obviously, and the more you have, the longer it takes. But we just want to get this up to a boil, and then we're going to simmer it at a very little low bubbly simmer for about 10 minutes or so. So once everything is nice and soft, that is it. We've turned off our burner and we're going to remove this from the heat. Okay, so we want nice hot jars because we are water bath canning. We want everything to be super hot. And we're just going to start filling up our jars. I'm using 8-ounce like jelly jars because that's the size that works for us. You could definitely do this in pints or even quarts if you really like a lot of it at a time. I like to do the smaller jars, so I can open 2 if I need to, but we don't usually need to do that. And we're just going to fill it up and give them about an inch head space, just about under this bottom rim on your jar. And then we are going to debubble. Shouldn't be too many bubbles in there, but it can't be too safe. So when you're canning, you want to make sure that you're getting all those steps in just to make sure so your food is going to last as long as possible. And then I'm going to use a little bit of white vinegar on a rag and just clean up my rims. Shouldn't be too much on there, but once in a while, a little bit gets on there while you can see this little piece flew out. While you're debubbling, sometimes that gets on there. And then we're just going to put our lids and rings on. This is really a super simple and easy project. Just finger tight. You don't want to overdo it because when you do, your lids can buckle, and we don't want that. So we'll just pop these right on, and we're going to put these right into that hot canner and keep filling jars. Once our jars are all filled and in the canner, you want to make sure you have at least 1 inch of water over the top of the jars. For water bath canning, you don't want them to get dry. I've got this up on high. Once this comes to a boil, we are going to time it for 10 minutes. So it's got a 10-minute for water bath canning. Okay, once our 10 minutes is up, I'm going to turn the heat off. And I like to just pop the lid and let this cool down for a couple minutes, 5 or 10. Once these cool down for a minute, we're just gonna I pull them out of the canner and I'm gonna let them sit on a towel just because the counters can be kind of cold. So we don't want any glass jars cracking or any of that. We're just gonna let these cool down to room temperature. I usually let them sit overnight. And that's it. Once they're all cooled down, I just give them a good wash, label them, and off to the pantry they go. We love this with some vanilla ice cream or over a piece of pound cake or anything, really. It's delicious. A little bit of cinnamon. It's great on pancakes too. Just a yummy, delicious cinnamon rhubarb sauce. Super easy to make and wonderful to have in the pantry in those winter months. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope to see you next time. Bye.